All right, welcome back to the Outdoor Drive podcast. This is the last day up here in the Springfield Sportsman Show up here in Springfield, Massachusetts. Yesterday, I actually got the chance to talk to a fellow fishing buddy by the name of Dylan. Dylan, how are you, buddy?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Hey, man, doing good, doing good. Glad it's the last day of the show, man. I just want to get this done and over with and on to the next one, right?
I hear you, brother. We're having some fun up here, enjoying the time. Show's been pretty good to us, and last day, just want to get out of here and enjoy the rest of the weekend before it gets back to the grind Monday through Friday.
That's right, man. Why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do?
All right. So my name is Dylan Napoleon. I am a 20-year-old fisherman from Beacon Falls, Connecticut. Basically a hour-long south shot here from Springfield. And basically I fish competitively all through high school. And now I focus on presenting seminars, doing some schoolwork, of course, working, fishing on my own, of course. But mainly why I'm here at the expo is to do my seminars. Saturday and Sunday, I spent some time up in seminar room B, having some fun with a couple fellas. Had some full rooms throughout the weekend. We were presenting ice fishing 101 and kids gone fishing. It was a great show, great seminars. Everything went nice and smooth. My audience members seemed to have a great time. I was just happy to be here to spread some knowledge.
Absolutely, man. And tell us, a little bit about how you got into that, man. So you had said that you did some competition fishing throughout high school.
Correct.
Did they have a team, or were you fishing? Were you fishing in a club, or what was up?
So great question. When I was a junior in high school, before I really started everything, I found out, I didn't even know because there was hardly any promotion for it, that there was like a huge high school fishing program in Connecticut, and promotion on it was just a little weak, and I was a huge part of the fishing community, and I finally figured out about that in my junior year of high school, and my main mission from there was to kind of bring my school into it. I knew that we had a huge following and a huge interest in what could have been a fishing program at the high school. So I kind of went through the ropes and created a high school fishing program at my high school, Woodland Regional in Beacon Falls. And, I had to present stuff to the superintendent, to the principal, all sorts of directors, everything at school. And I was able to bring a fishing club/team into our high school. Me and my buddy Kyle Bashera, also from Beacon Falls, we did some work with that. Finally got it started. We had a club, which was it had a bunch of members in it, and our club was just kids who enjoyed the sport of fishing but didn't want to fish competitively. Our team, on the other hand, consisted of about 4 to 6 of us, and we competed after everything finalized and actually had a club/team at the school. We were able to get some guys out fishing against some of the other anglers, high school anglers from Connecticut.
Oh, so there is other teams, high school teams throughout the state.
Absolutely. So even here in Massachusetts, after I finally figured out everything, and all these surrounding states have at least somewhat of a high school fishing program. There's opportunities for kids in high school to fish competitively, as well as a lot of opportunities for kids who just want to fish for their leisure. But we were able to do some awesome stuff, bring a program into the high school, get some kids out on the water, and really get people into the sport of fishing, whether it was kids who wanted to join the fishing team or kids who just wanted to be a part of our club, where we did different things, bait pouring. We did a lot of interactive stuff, brought people in to do seminars, brought people in to just spread knowledge, and we had a great time doing that.
That's awesome. Did you guys fish more or less out of power boats, or was it all done like kayaks and stuff like that?
So great question. I myself have done a huge, so this is another thing I did. When I was in high school, I started the New England Bass, and they're up here at the show too. They run tournaments all over New England, Massachusetts, Connecticut, just a few states to mention, and they never had anything for high school kids. So what we did was create a high school fishing trail, kayaks only. Not too many kids at that time had a boat, so it was a lot easier for kids to get a hold of kayaks. And we hosted kayak tournaments for kids in Connecticut, that was something that I'm proud to say carried over after I graduated from high school. Obviously, I was no longer able to run it. After I graduated, I kind of grew out of it. It was for high school, middle school kids. So there's a kid out of Connecticut. His name's Paul Litchfield, I believe. And just a quick little shout out to him. He took it over from me. He's doing a great job with it, running those kayak tournaments for high schoolers all over Connecticut. So shout out to Paul, doing something great.
That's awesome, man. And then you kind of moved on from doing that kind of tournament style fishing throughout high school, and then now you've kind of just engulfed your life around the fishing community again, and you're doing
Absolutely.
something special also.
Absolutely. So now what I do is I mostly, for the time being, I was going around Connecticut and presenting my seminars. I currently have 3 different titles. We were off to a huge start before COVID hit, and obviously, as you can imagine, when COVID hit, it was really hard to really get in-person stuff. It still kind of is. Things are opening up, thank God. But now what I do is go around Connecticut, finally getting my foot in the door into these expos. This is my first ever expo, so it went really well. I'm glad made a lot of friends here. It was a great time. My audience members were really happy with what I was able to do for them. I felt like everything went well. But now, like I said, I go around Connecticut and hopefully soon to be other states. Spend just about every weekend of every month going out there presenting seminars. Like I said, this weekend was out here at the Springfield Sportsman Show. We got a couple more coming up, scheduling them every day. Almost last week, I was able to schedule 5 or 7 more. We'll be at the Mohegan Sun, the New England Expo over there. That's going to be a fun one. Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, March 25th through 27th, I want to say.
Yep.
99% sure on that one.
Yep.
But yeah, we're looking forward to that one. In the meantime, go around to some libraries throughout the state of Connecticut. Hopefully I can get my foot in the door into some here in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, wherever. My main goal is just to go around, do as many as I possibly could, and help other people enjoy the outdoors just as much as we do ourselves.
So you're trying to grow the business, so like you would probably, and I'm just putting this out to listeners, obviously, because a lot of them are part of gun clubs and all this other stuff. Is that of interest of you also to kind of get into that kind of realm too?
Absolutely. I've done these, like I said, mostly at libraries. This is my first expo doing them. I've had some Cub Scout, Boy Scout groups and branches reach out to me trying to get some stuff done, because I believe what I do is possibly able to help Boy Scouts and everyone get some merit badges of the fishing, those type of badges that those guys are after. And so that's what I do. Any venue I'm able to get into, the expos, of course, the libraries, of course.
Right.
Basically, whatever I can get into, I'm interested in, because the main goal is really to just spread knowledge. We see a lot of kids walking around this expo. We see a lot of families, and I myself was brought up by my dad, who really helped me fish, and then after that I kind of took it all to myself and did a lot of stuff. So for me to be able to go out there and travel around, not only is traveling great, but being able to help these dads and these moms and kids in general go out onto the water, and even people who are older than me. Like I said, I'm only 20 myself, and having people who are 70 years old in my seminars is just a blessing, to be honest with you, because for me to be such a young guy and be able to spread some knowledge everywhere I go, that's the main goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to kind of dive into your seminar kind of setup. So when you get into a seminar room, what do you lead off on, and take us kind of through what a seminar is like for you?
Absolutely. So everywhere I go, obviously we start off getting in the room, we get everything set up, welcome our guests. I introduce myself at every seminar, and so right now I'm running 3 seminar titles. Like I said, Ice Fishing 101, Bass Fishing in Connecticut, but just kind of really, now that I'm able to branch off and do some bigger things outside of Connecticut, I'm probably going to have to change the name on that one, because my information is good for everywhere in New England. So I have to come up with something nice for that. Then we have Kids Gone Fishing. So Kids Gone Fishing, we'll start off with that one. I'll kind of let you know, kind of give a brief summary on all of them. Kids Gone Fishing is made to help families, including the parents and the kids, really dive into the fishing community. It might be a little tough for parents who have no fishing experience to be able to guide their kids through the fishing community. So that's kind of what I'm here for. I want to help parents learn how to get their kids really fully into the fishing community, and I want to help the kids, grow a passion for fishing. The reason why I kind of designed one just for kids and their parents is some of my ice fishing 101 and bass fishing, those are both really kind of advanced and full of information. So the kids one is really designed to be brief and straight to the point, not a ton of information on each slide, being able to really grasp and hold the attention of these kids throughout the seminar. I'm like I said, I'm 20, so I've been in that. We all have been in that stage of life where it's hard to sit through a long seminar. So being able to really connect with those kids and be able to teach them stuff that's just what I like to do. Obviously, ice fishing 101, we cover just about every base that you need in ice fishing, from equipment to safety to different lures, etc. And bass fishing, same thing. We cover equipment, how to be safe on the water, different regulations, what you need to go out there, and how to really be a powerful force in the fishing community.
Absolutely, and I think that's very important for you to try and get the kids involved and all the stuff that you're doing. I mean, that's empowering, man. I mean, it really, truly, honestly is. And our industry, hunting, fishing, whatever, camping, whatever it may be, hiking. I mean, we need that next generation, and it's so important. And I think that there's a lot of information out there that. I mean, I'm sorry, I take that back. There's not a lot of information out there for some of these kids and stuff. And, there's a lot of people, we hear a lot of stories about children that want to get into fishing or want to get into hunting, and their parents don't hunt or fish. So I think what you're doing is very good, and you're empowering that younger generation, and it's actually very awesome. I like it a lot. And the funny thing is, for you to do what you're doing at such a young age is definitely an amazing thing.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, my main goal is to really go out there. I'm looking at this show. We have people of all ages here. A lot of kids, a lot of families, younger adults with their kids. To be able to go out there and just really spread knowledge and say and have these people saying, all right, so that's what I need to do. That's what I need to go buy. That's what my kid needs. To be able to really give good information instead of people going on the website online and seeing hundreds of thousands of different options, being able to get straight knowledge, stuff that, all the stuff that I provide to people, including information, is stuff that I've been through. I recommend stuff that I personally use. I give them personal strategies, personal approaches to different fish. So I provide them the best information I can. Like I said, my main mission is to have them go out feeling confident and ambitious on the water.
So my thing is this: like, let's get off the business for 2 seconds.
Absolutely.
I want to know, obviously we're telling them about what you're actually doing in those seminars and how you go about it, but let's get down to the nitty gritty of it. Honestly, I want to hear, when you're about to do a tournament, say any type of time, like whether it was in high school or it was now or whatever the case may be, and you're going to a lake that you don't know. How do you break apart that lake and try and get yourself to be in that top 10 position?
All right, that's a great question. So a lot of times you show up to a lake, and if you're lucky, you've had a couple days of practice. If not, maybe sometimes you work all week. You get stuck doing school stuff all week. But sometimes you absolutely do show up to that lake blindfolded, and you don't have a lot of information behind you. Main point is go out there. Try to be as effective as you can, cover as much water as you possibly can, and make sure that the time that you're spending out on the water is very effective. You want to be able to go out on the water, cover as much as you can, figure out new things, and make sure that what you're doing out there is providing you the best approach come tournament day. So, you go out on the water, you break it down, figure out what's working, where those fish are, how they're feeding, where the bait is, the structure of the lake. You go out there and you got to do as much homework as you can in the couple days that you have. But if you don't have any practice behind your back, what I do is I go out there, I try to look for things that that can have fish. I look for things that I look at the different forage in the lake, different bait, different structure. Try to break it down, cover as much water as you can, and make sure that the time that you're spending out on the water is the most effective it can be. A lot of times people go out onto the water and they just go fishing, right? when it comes tournament time, you actually want to think of it as a job. You want to go out there, you want to win, you want to cash a check hopefully, and you want to make sure that what you're doing out on the water is really providing you the best approach or the best shot at doing what you want to do, which is ultimately to win.
Absolutely. And what tools are you using to your advantage to learn these types of lakes?
Good question again. So a lot of times you show up to the lake, a lot of things we'll watch YouTube videos, try to figure out, most recent stuff, figure out what's going on in the lake, how that lake's moving, the current, the wind. You want to look at different plants in the water. You want to look at different types of bait fish. Some lakes may have sunfish, others may have shiners, others may have all different sorts of bait fish in these lakes. Some of the time the bass are feeding on alewife, sometimes the bass are feeding on sunfish, sometimes the bass are feeding on smelt, etc. You want to figure out how those bass are feeding, where the bait is, and ultimately where those bass are going to find that bait.
And so are you more of a deep water fisherman or a shore fisherman? Like,
So I kind of have to go with the flow most of the time because you go out there to win, obviously. But me personally, when I go fishing for my own and fishing just to have fun, I'm a really good shallow water fisherman. I'm pretty good at dialing those fish in when they're sub 12 to 14 feet. Anything below there is not too hard for me. Obviously I don't do as well fishing deep. But if I have the opportunity to fish shallow all day, that's kind of what I like to do. I like to fish finesse stuff, topwater stuff. Not a huge crankbait guy when it comes to fishing deep. I'm not a huge drop shot guy. Obviously, if that's what needs to be done, I'll do it. But yes, it definitely does give me a disadvantage. I feel like my strength is up shallow.
so what? Take us through a time that you had just one of those nerve-wracking times through a tournament, and what did you do to change it?
Great question. So, October of 2019, I fished a national championship event in Idaho, and that was probably the biggest tournament, if not probably the second, maybe the first biggest was my first college fishing tournament. So basically, you go out there, and I'm feeling a little anxious. When I was in 2019, that was the biggest tournament I had ever fished to date. Me and my dad made a flight across the country from Connecticut to Idaho. Actually, flew into Spokane, Washington, and man, the nerves. I was fishing to win a boat, honestly, and I had never been there. Practice wasn't allowed, so it's kind of on you to do all your homework and figure out, what's going on. I did okay in that tournament. I want to say I placed like 15th out of 50, something like that.
That's impressive.
It was a fun time. Being prepared will take those nerves away, but at that time I was second guessing myself, not really knowing if I was prepared. I was fishing against one guy from every state. I was representing Connecticut. I was fishing against guys from every other state, one per. And I had the weight of Connecticut on my back, to be honest with you, because I wanted to make sure that everyone I had a lot of sponsorships for that. I had a lot of people sending me money to help me make the trip.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of businesses wanted to be on my jersey and everything, so they would send in checks and stuff like that to really help me make the trip possible. I felt like I had to do something good for everybody. I wanted to do good for myself, but I didn't care about myself at that point. I wanted to make sure that I had countless business names on my back. I had a lot of people following me, and I wanted to make sure that I was providing the best performance I could have. So that's why I was a little anxious that morning. That was one of the times that I'll never forget, being a little upset that morning. Not upset by any means, but definitely not in the greatest mood. I just had a lot weighing on my shoulders, and the pressure that I felt I'll never forget, because I definitely learned from that, and I probably haven't even felt that way since.
Absolutely, man. So what are kind of some of the things in the future that people can look out for and kind of check out for Dylan?
In the future, this summer I'm planning on staying home in Connecticut and fishing as much as I could. I haven't decided exactly which trails I'm going to fish. Hoping to fish a bunch of the local clubs. Basically, any opportunity I have, I'm going to fish. So this summer, maybe some BFLs, some Bass Fishing League, Phoenix Bass Fishing League by FLW or MLF at this point. I hope to be the biggest force that I can be on the water. I want to go out there make a name for myself, and really at the same time make sure that everyone around me is, enjoying themselves. I want to make sure that we're all, the sport of fishing lives on, and obviously I do want to be the best, but I really do hope that I can help the fishing community live on as much as I possibly could. I care about the fishing community more than I do myself, because after me, I want to make sure that there's people behind me that can carry the legacy of fishing on. I want this show that we're at to be standing after our time, and I want to make sure that people are still enjoying the sport after our time. So for me to be able to help these kids, young kids, families, and everyone being able to spread knowledge. Another thing that everyone can look for, I'm always going to be spreading knowledge. I'm going to be doing these seminars as much as I could. I can guarantee you that. I want to make sure that everyone is enjoying the outdoors just as much as I do, and I want people to feel the same way. I want people to go out on the water. They want to be the best, and I want there always to be the sport of fishing around. I hope the sport of fishing is here for a while. Hope these expos are here for a while. I want everyone to enjoy. You do look at these seminars and you realize how many older folks are here. You want to make sure that there's more people our age and more kids involved come a couple years from now. You want to make sure that everyone, that this sport of fishing, that it lives on.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree with you, man. And it is nice to see some of the younger generations walking around here. And, throughout all the shows that we do go and visit, you're starting to see that. I mean, they're communicating in a different level, right? So they might not be at the shows, but they're still buying from these companies. They're seeing it on YouTube. They're seeing it on podcasts. That's a great thing. You know what I'm saying? And your generation totally understands that.
Yeah, absolutely. To be like we said, to be here and seeing everybody enjoying the time and enjoying what this sport is about, basically getting together and really coming together as a community. It's really cool to see everybody here. My eyes are opening. Every other second I'm here, I'm seeing new things, different people. It's awesome.
Absolutely, man. So if you had one lure that you could take with you for the rest of your life to fish and know that you could win tournaments in, what would it be, bud?
Well, if I had one lure that I could bring with me everywhere I went, I'd probably I'd love to be able to bring a topwater with me everywhere I go.
You really enjoy that topwater fishing?
I do. I love topwater frogs. I love whopper ploppers. I love everything of that nature.
But the thing with that is it has to be a certain time of year to make
that's
them
what I mean.
active on top of the water.
That's what I mean. So it probably that's what I'm saying. It probably wouldn't be the one that I brought with me everywhere I went.
At what temperature do they really start to key into that topwater fishing?
So in my experiences, I love to target bass in the dead heat of summer.
Okay.
Either at morning or at night, as that sun is coming down, either going up or coming down. Those are my two favorite times to fish topwater. Dead heat of summer, those fish are going to be a little active when that sun's coming up, when that sun's going down. Mm-hmm. But I want to get back to that question. I'm trying to think to myself what my favorite lure would be to bring every time. If I had to make one lure if I had it for the rest of my life, I'd probably have to say a soft plastic swim bait. No matter where I am and no matter where I'm at,
like a Kel-Tec type.
Yeah, like a Kitec. You can't go wrong with something like that on a jig head, just a ball head jig. Can't go wrong with something like that. And now that I mention a jig, maybe a jig would be the one.
Like pig and jig type.
Different stuff. Like a pig and jig, or a jig with the trailer on the back. Same thing. But yeah, definitely something of that nature. Maybe a finesse bait. A Kitec swim bait, finesse presentation, or a jig. Definitely the same finesse presentation. Not the same presentation, but definitely something both that I feel strongly about.
So is there somewhere that we can find you, man? Do you have some of your seminar type stuff on YouTube? Do you break down some stuff? What's up, man? Tell me about this.
So that's a great question. My best way to reach me is probably through Facebook. My name, Dylan Napoleon, so Dylan. Last name Napoleon.
Like Napoleon Dynamite?
Exactly, but spelled a little different. Napoleone. You'll find my personal page. You'll find my seminar page, which is Dylan Napoleon's Bass Fishing in Connecticut Seminars. Now that I'm here in Springfield, I'm probably going to have to change some names, like I said earlier. So for the time being, that's where to find me. Any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And I just want to say thanks again thanks again to you for having me on the show.
Hey, we're not done yet. Don't think just yet.
All
I got
right.
one last question,
All
bro.
right.
And
That's what I like to hear.
This is what we one question that we always ask everybody, man, and that's what drives you outdoors, man. What drives Dylan outdoors? Not your car, not your boat,
Right.
not your bicycle, not your feet. What drives you?
So, ever since I was little, well, I'm going to give a little story real quick.
Sounds good.
I used to live in Stratford, Connecticut, which was right on the shore of Connecticut, the town that was right on the beach. And when I was little, my dad used to take me to this little fishing pier, and we used to cast little cast masters out there and catch a ton of snappers. You know, when the bluefish are coming in, we're catching snappers like crazy. Hundreds of them a day, just so much fun to be able to go out there and fish, right? So we did that until I was in third grade. I moved up to Beacon Falls, Connecticut, which is a little bit more inland, and I made friends with this dude, Kyle Bashir, that I spoke about a little earlier, and we had a great time fishing. He was my best friend. Me and him did a lot for the fishing community through high school. He helped me start that fishing program. Me and him learned a whole lot from fishing together. We were awesome friends, and we had a great time doing everything. And it was a lot of fun to be able to go out there and spend time with Kyle. He was like the only guy I had that was behind me and really wanted to really fish. You know, I was in my high school. I live in a small town. We have about 6 to 800 people, and the fishing community is there, but we kind of built it up a little bit. You know, people saw what we were doing for high school. People saw the fish that we were catching out of their backyards, and the sport of fishing kind of blew up a little bit in our area thanks to us. We had a great time doing everything. So, what drives me outdoors is just my past, to be honest with you. My dad and I had a great time fishing. My buddy Kyle and I had a great time fishing. And between them two, the sport of fishing just has a special place in my heart. So, just that special place in my heart is what drives me outdoors. I get out of work on a Friday and I want to go hit the water. I get out of work on a Tuesday evening, I want to go hit the water. I'm going to go home tonight and get some stuff ready to go hit the water tomorrow. So just my past and people I've met, the experiences that I've had, and being able to really just do great things with great people in the industry. Like, I feel awesome being on this podcast with you right now. Just everything like this, the small things are what really make the passion for fishing and the outdoors a strong place for me.
Absolutely, Dylan, man. I'm really looking forward to watch you grow and evolve into something, bro. I really see it happen. Your passion and your love for the sport is something else, man. And if you guys haven't already, go and check out Dylan. See what he's got going on, man. Give him a good thumbs up if he's on his YouTube page or whatever the case may be. Take care of my man. And for everyone else, thanks for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.